Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. As I'm sure you heard from the intro, it's going to be a boys' night tonight. Hannah's not with us. She is not feeling great. She's coughing a whole lot, so she decided it'd be better for everyone if she just set this one out. But as always, my name is Zach. I'm joined remotely by my best friend Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And we are joined by someone who it's been 2 years, actually over 2 years since the last time we talked to you. But Devin Walker is back on the show with us. How you doing, Devin?
I'm good, gentlemen. Happy to be here.
Well, we're doing video this time. We didn't do video last
time.
Fair.
Yeah. So here's the deal, Devin. This is a boys' night. Just the guys in here tonight, okay? There's only been one other occurrence when Zach's wife Hannah has not been in on an interview, and it was the Cam interview, and just continues to refuse to listen. And so, just off the top, can you give us like that selling point to her so she can go back and listen to this pod? What is the thing that's going to hook her?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, if anybody's on the fence about a podcast starring me, I would reevaluate after the episode that I just had. Yeah. And there's plenty today. Actually, the secret vote was released on Twitter. So there's going to be a lot to unpack there. If I was a fan of the challenge, I wouldn't want to miss.
Wait, was there breaking news like today as of recording?
Breaking to me, because obviously on the show when we do our secret vote, it does come up on the screen. But unless you like stop, pause and look at everyone that voted, which I don't do, I don't see it until this video comes out, which is like, here's how I voted and why. And they've done that this season, which is, I've never seen that done before, and it just gives an incredible amount of information. And not like one or two or three or four people told me they were going to do one thing and did another, like 9 people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that voted for you this last week.
Yeah, it was every one of them.
So we are recording this. It is December 28th. So your episode aired like 4 days ago, the one where you went into elimination with Wes. And this coming week, there's not a challenge. They're taking a week off, going to kick it back up on January 6th. So it worked out perfectly that, you're coming on the show. The crazy thing was, I told you before we started recording, I texted you on December 15th or 16th, and I just had your number from the last time you were on in like 2018. And I was like, hey, you're back on the show. We'd love to have you back on, see what you've been up to for the last 2 years. And I didn't hear anything back. And then I just happened to message you at the beginning of this week's episode. And I was like, hey, we'd love to have you back. Had no idea you were going to, Nicole was going to go home, and that you were going to decide to poke Josh until he broke. I don't know. But, that was, it worked. And the timing couldn't have been any better because, I got to give the challenge production. They're doing a lot with comedic timing this season. And
they got a lot to work with. I mean, just between me and Big T alone, you can get some laughs in there.
Well, so like we had the moment a couple episodes ago where it was like they just hard cut to Nicole and she's just talking. And I legitimately looked at my wife and I was like, I don't know what she's saying. And then hard cut to you, dead silent. You kind of lean over and whisper to Kyle, and you're like, I don't know what my partner is saying. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that, we're all in the same boat on that.
Yeah, that was probably me and Nicole. We knew this going in because me and Nicole work really well together, but our biggest hurdle to overcome was going to be communication. And not just because, we both have, I mean, I guess I don't really have an accent, but Nicole's got a Long Island accent. It's just a different kind. So when and when she's yelling and when she's hyped up, it is hard to understand sometimes. But I didn't just mean that aspect of it. It played that way. That was really funny. But I just meant like also, well, in addition to that, we were viewing the game very differently. And I love Nicole. I was really happy to have her as a partner. But that was in this particular game, communication was like probably number 1 or 2 on the list of things you needed to do, which is why it was so interesting that Casey and Leroy won that challenge. And, this isn't really, they've kind of alluded to it a few times with Leroy, but Casey and Leroy were very much playing completely different games. I mean, I barely saw them talk game ever. So it could be done, but it was having good communication in a team is obviously beneficial. And that was not me and Nicole's strong suit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely two different like mindsets. Like hers has always been, she's just going to be physical and whatever. And yours has definitely been more along the lines of where can I like outsmart you and, do that. But by the way, like your elimination record's a lot better than a lot of these other people up there. And you've taken out two of
kind
the
of
best
a
players
giant
of all
slayer.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is a point that I'd like no one to forget ever again, especially cast members. But I don't know. I've kind of always felt like when the lights come on, you get the best version of myself. And there's obviously things that I'm not going to kind of excel at just because I don't have the body type for it, or I haven't done the training, or, just go up against someone that's an absolute beast. You also have to remember, like, as a pretty normal guy, I'm going up against not normal athletes.
Yeah.
So I feel like eliminations bring out the best in me, but there's sometimes, I mean, no matter who you are, there's going to be situations you just can't win.
Yeah. I mean, like if you're like Fessy in a hall brawl or something, like, I mean, that guy legitimately could have been in the NFL if he didn't like tear his leg up or whatever happened.
I don't know the Fessy NFL story. I wouldn't have drafted him. I'll tell you that much.
he played. So we found out, we interviewed him last season. He played at a college like that's about 3 or 4 hours away from us. And we had no idea because we don't watch Big Brother. And so we had no idea that he played in Chattanooga. And so we looked into it, and like he's got the body type that like he could play in the NFL. It just depends on if you can put it all together, because there's a lot of other things that have to come together,
and thankfully
there was injuries.
The NFL personality is not a requirement for the NFL, so he would have that box ticked.
I'm not going to speak one way or the other on that because we had a very lovely interview with Fessy. I will say, just for your sake, I think you probably were the most controversial person we've ever interviewed. And we've interviewed Paulie at like the height of his so we interviewed Paulie when I would openly like mock Paulie every episode. And then he emailed us and then CC'd Wes on it for some reason and was like, "You guys talking crap about me?" He's like, "Let me come on." So we brought him on. But it was at the height of the bananas incident. So that fueled the fire.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's gonna fuel it.
We legitimately had people that were like, "I will never listen to him on anything."
Yeah, no, I'm a super polarizing individual, and I think one of the reasons why is because whether you like me or you don't like me, you can't say that I don't make a lot of sense. And one of the most annoying things about like people that you disagree with is when they just make fucking sense. Like I hate that. So I totally understand that people don't like me. And then on top of that, I'm making really good points and they're like, "Come on. Can't argue with this kid. He's saying facts."
Yeah, it's I think you did win a few people over. We had a lot of people that like afterwards, I was like, I think you should give him a try, because for me, I think I told you this last time, I was out on any Are You the One cast members. I was like, don't care about them. Don't like this as the new training grounds or whatever. Because all of them we saw so far, from my perspective, were just like, oh, these people that are on this dumb dating show. And then you came in and then you just kind of made fun of everybody. And I was like, that wins me over. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, Nelson and Hunter, Amanda, those are big challenge names now too. So it's not just Are You the One, but season 3 came correct.
Oh yeah. Were you guys all in the same season?
Cheyenne, Chuck, Brittany, Amanda, me, Hunter, Nelson.
Good Lord. That's
a good haul right there.
Yeah. Yeah. We brought it in, and Tori, obviously can't forget Tori Deal. Love me some Tori Deal also.
Well, she's your partner now as of recording.
She is my partner now. Yeah. And that really should have been the cliffhanger. Don't go anywhere, because Team Devin and Tori are coming in, and that is, you thought me and Nicole were bad. Tune into the next episode.
Well, so fill us in on that, because like, I'll be honest, like, we haven't watched Are You the One, so we're out of the loop on like, the context.
We did not watch Second Chances.
So like when she's talking
and pretty much everybody else.
Yeah. So when she's talking about this rivalry, like I'll be honest, like I'm a little unfamiliar with it. So can you kind of fill us in on why there is said rivalry between you guys?
Yeah. First of all, shameless plug here for Are You the One Second Chances?
Yeah.
If you can find it, watch it. It's some of my best work. I mean, fast forward through the parts that don't have me and Tori in them, but it was really some of my best stuff. And it was just the premise is more like The Amazing Race, right? So you're with a partner and you have to race around through Australia, working with your teammate and doing like kind of challenge stuff, more Amazing Race type challenges.
Yeah.
And, me and Tori were in the final together. We were arch rivals the whole season. She had one alliance, I had another. And I just kept winning and winning and winning. I think there was like $250,000 available, and me and my partner won 190,000 of it. So all the rest of the people won like a quarter of the money, and we won the rest of it.
So was that's
kind of where
after
where
you were on
from.
the challenge? Like, was that in between seasons, or was that before?
I did Rivals 3, yeah. So I did already the one. I did Rivals 3, then I did Second Chances instead of doing Invasions.
Well, Invasions was a weird season, although that was possibly one of the easiest finals we've seen in a long time.
I wouldn't have wanted to live in that hut on the beach, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unchill.
That was a good idea on paper, but then the execution of it with bringing the vets in and like it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, I didn't see that season. I know that Ashley and CT won.
Yeah,
but that was it was Second Chances instead of that, and then me and Tori we were both on Dirty 30, but we didn't spend. I obviously went home immediately, so we didn't get to I don't know, work anything out there. And if I'm not wrong, this is the next season.
Was she not
didn't do Final Reckoning.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And she didn't do, I don't think she did Vendettas.
Well, Vendettas was before. We didn't start podcasting until Final Reckoning. So I don't think she was on that because I don't think you guys overlapped on there.
I did. We both did Dirty 30. I think for whatever reason, she didn't do Vendettas. I don't remember her being there. And I probably would have remembered her being there. So yeah, this is the first season we've had since that. And so inevitably there's going to be that kind of, I don't know, struggle for power between us, which is why I picked her as a partner.
What was it friendly, or was this like legitimately like, she's like, oh, she can't stand me, so I'm going to force her to be around me at all times?
See, the funny thing is I actually really like Tori as a person. I think she's hilarious. And she's obviously a good partner, but the main reason was I got to infiltrate that alliance somehow. I mean, it is not being played this way because I guess at this point it wasn't as obvious, but for those of us that were in the house, I mean, our backs were against the wall because of the structure of the vote.
Yeah.
From day one. And I had to infiltrate that alliance and at least keep one of the core members of it close to me so I could get some sort of idea about what they were doing. And it was either take Tori, take Casey, or take Cam. Those were the three kind of ringleaders in Anissa.
I thought you would take Cam, if I'm being honest. But then I was like, well, Kyle's
my guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not gonna take Cam, who could. The other thing you have to think about is you want to pick a partner in this game that isn't gonna tank your team on purpose, because we don't know yet what happens if you win a challenge. Say it's a guy's day and I go up there and Leroy was the house vote and he wants me. We don't know what happens if I vote for someone else and Cam votes for me and we're the double agents. I could go down there and have to go against Leroy. So these are all things that are going on in my head when I'm about to pick a partner. And I just know Tori is never going to throw a competition. She's never going to, from what I've known about her so far, she's not going to do anything like crazy maniacal to her own team.
Yeah. So
I felt safe and it got me in their alliance. And I mean, as you guys see the season progress, I think you'll see it was the right move.
I definitely think it was the right move. And again, the only reason I initially thought you might pick Cam was because she was kind of, from what we've seen, like edit wise, like the head of like, oh, let's get these vets out, which looking back on it, it more so seems like that stemmed from CT just not agreeing to be your partner, and she's like, well, I gotta flip this somehow.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it happened either, because it was kind of confusing as to why they were. It's like every challenge I've ever watched, including the one I was a rookie on, it was send him in over and over and over again. And no one really had a problem with that, except for, you know, the Fessy, Nelson, Corey alliance, which was weirdly run by Cam. You're right there.
Yeah, she's got. We interviewed Cam. Actually, we interviewed her like maybe like 4 or 5 episodes before we interviewed you, so it was early on. And I mean, her biggest thing to me is she's very strategic, and like, you know, she's a big girl. Like, you don't want to go against her in like a physical elimination from what we've seen. Again,
I think she's 9-1 going into this season.
It's something like that, yeah.
9-1 or 10-1, yeah.
It's very impressive, and she still does not have a season win. I don't even know if she's made the finals or not. Did she make the finals on Vendettas?
Yeah, I believe she's made one. Has she not?
I don't know.
She was one of those people in like the dungeon of Vendettas.
Yeah, I think she made the final, but then got purged out or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But let me tell you what Cam is incredible at, which aligns really, really well with an alliance like, you know, Josh, Fessy, Corey, Nelson. Cam is incredible at convincing that her idea was your idea.
So she's the opposite of Josh.
Way opposite of Josh. Yeah. She's so good at like, okay, here's what I want to have happen, but I know that in this game, the best chance you have at executing a plan is to make the people you want to do the plan think it was their plan.
Yeah.
And she's incredible at that. So everybody was coming to her with all these plans that she had already put in motion way before that. Yeah. And then they thought about, because everyone has the memory of a goldfish in that house, everyone was thinking like, okay, we got Cam to go along with our plan. No, you're going along with her plan. You just think it's yours.
Yeah, so Josh, a couple seasons ago, I think it was War of the Worlds 2, when Laurel came up with the idea to like throw in Wes early. Josh just was like, I came up with this great idea. This is what I'm doing. It was not his thing at all. Laurel did what Cam was doing, basically. And like, again,
it's genius, because if it works, you get all the credit on the back door, right?
But you don't have the heat
on the back end. And if it doesn't work, you can say, well, that was their idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Josh is
brilliant.
We've only been covering this show since Final Reckoning, but this is actually our 9th season because we do recaps during the off season. We go back and watch old ones. And Josh might be the most confusing person I've ever watched on this show, because
confusing guy. Yeah.
At any time, I legitimately have no idea what he's thinking, because you could think that A, B, C lined up, and so it's going to lead to this. And in his mind, it's a completely different thing where everyone's out to. He's so paranoid and hyper emotional that I can't follow like his like brain processes, and because of that, it is so frustrating to watch. From just like I don't know, he's a loose cannon. Like,
one thing that's really interesting is that to me is that me and Josh actually have a ton of similarities, and one of them is we're on the same scale. We're just on different ends of it, right? So there's inevitably some, like, for a Venn diagram, there's like some in the middle that we both are.
Yeah.
One of the things that we both are is, and no one will ever say this to Josh, which is the funny part, but they say it, everyone says it around the house constantly. He's a non-threat. They feel the same way. They 100%. Feel the same way about me. Josh is a complete non-threat. He's the perfect person to have in an alliance because he's loyal. He might squeak out a daily win, you know?
He's like 0-4 in eliminations.
Whatever the stat is, yeah. But like, he's great to keep around, especially in a skull format, for someone else to take their skull from. And if he ever does make it to a final, he's not going to win. That's what people think. And that's what a lot of people think about me. So in the game, me and Josh are treated very similarly, which is kind of keep them around until it's time to trim the fat, essentially. Yeah. And then get both of those guys off our team if it's going to be a team final, or let's take our skull and, you know, get rid of them right before the final. So me and Josh were treated very similarly in this game. And I think that's why you saw, one of the reasons you saw us kind of butting heads is because Josh maybe didn't realize this, but he was not in a good position in this game. I knew I was in a really bad position, but Josh was not in a good position.
You went scorched earth with it, and then
I didn't care.
He decided that he was going to interject himself into like an egg conversation with Casey and CT for no reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened in that. I'm really not.
I
honestly don't know.
I do get what you're saying as far as like from an outside perspective. I will say like you're probably in the best shape you've ever been in coming into a season, right? I mean, you've got an OnlyFans and all that now. You got to keep it.
Gotta be looking right.
I do. Shout out my OnlyFans. But no, to be honest with you, I've been in much better shape in my life than going into this season. Like I personally feel like I'm in better shape right now than I was walking into that show. But I'm telling you, it rarely makes a difference. I mean, look at the two guys that have skulls right now. Kyle's an athlete and he's got a ton of heart.
Also ex-military, apparently.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. When you look at the people that me and Kyle beat, right, Wes and Joseph, clearly in better physical shape, it has way less to do with that than people think that it does. It really does. And in anything that has to do with holding your weight or, using your brain at all, I'm going to have that advantage. And anything that comes down to like heart or just straight up wanting it more, Kyle's going to have that. So I was in decent shape, but I don't train that hard, like crazy hard, like some of these other guys do. Cause I know unless it's a hall brawl, which I probably will lose anyways, even if I train as hard as I can.
Yeah.
I have to play to my strengths as a competitor. I have to play to my strengths and know what those are and make sure that I never lose at that. And if I win some of the other stuff, then I'm happy with it. But yeah, I don't know. I was in better shape probably. Dirty 30, I was in actually really good shape, and I just
I haven't watched that season since it aired. I think Jake went back and watched it. Not long
ago. You were part of that initial purge, right?
Yeah, we got worked right out. We got a really bad team, and like me, Darrell, Tony, and Corey were just like. That's a strong team.
That's a solid group.
We just got a bad roll of dice. We had Simone on our team and she was like sitting on the thing we had to carry instead of helping us carry it. It just wasn't good.
Was Simone the one that broke the wine bottle and almost stabbed Tony's brother?
I honestly don't know.
I don't want to get you in any trouble. Yeah, but it's
down. Just to speak to that real quick, for the record, I still don't know what happened there. I was right there. I legitimately don't know what happened.
But it was her. That's the same person, right?
Same person.
Okay. That's what I thought. I don't remember much about her because she didn't really do many challenge seasons.
She did my first two.
Okay, so she probably did those back to back, I guess.
The Rivals 3 and Dirty 30.
Yeah. I kind of forgot about that. That's the only thing I really remember about her.
She's cool though. She actually was a really cool person. I'm sure she still is, but challenge isn't for everybody, man. It's a pressure cooker in there. And like, I've obviously done some things I'm not super proud of on there. I think a lot of people have, but all you fans, try not to judge us on our faults on a game show for $1 million.
Well, I mean, I think Jake can agree with me on this. Like what we try to do with our show, like, we never wanted to be like the hot gossip podcast. Like we're friends talking about, Jake and I started watching this when we were like 15, just randomly caught it when like Wes and them all started. And so then I got my wife into it. Bloodlines was her first season. Mm-hmm. And so she's been watching it ever since then. So we keep it very conversational. We don't act like we're experts on any of this, but the main thing is, especially when we do interviews like this, is we try to just like put like a human face with like what we see on TV, because man, we didn't have any clue until we started this podcast how toxic of an environment like challenge Twitter and Reddit and stuff could be.
It's
to
crazy.
The people on the show.
They will let you know how they feel.
Yeah.
I don't mind it though. I mean, hey, listen, people are passionate. Buena Murray and MTV put out a really, really solid product, and what comes with a product like that, and especially when it's got reality in the title, is that people are going to take it seriously and they're going to be passionate. And with the good passion is going to come, you know, with some people that might take it over the line, but I'd rather people have an opinion about me than not. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I feel like you're the guy that totally has fun with it, though. Like, I don't see you being the guy that gets offended. Yeah. But it is like, it's so, because again, like prior to doing this podcast, like I'm not even involved on Twitter, honestly. And then like, it's so crazy because people will like latch themselves onto said competitor, like whether it's Cara or whether it's, you know, Bananas, like whatever we got, you know, like all these different defenders and stan accounts out there, and almost take like what happens to them personally and feel like they have to go to bat for this person now. You know, it's just bizarre.
For something that happened like 4 months ago that was edited down to like a 10-second clip. And it's like, come on, like you're not doing anyone a favor by telling the other person that they need to go kill themselves or something like that.
Yeah, it's bizarre. They definitely goes too far sometime. But again, I don't know. I'm trying to look on the bright side, and just the fact that I'm part of something that makes people feel that passionately, and try to, you know, take the good with the bad. And I don't take it too seriously. My day to day doesn't change based off of whether I'm getting, you know, love or hate from fans. I've got to be, I appreciate everyone that watches. And like, I obviously to some extent, listen to the buzz that's around the show, but you can't let it affect you. You got to know who you are and go with it from there. And so I think I do a better job of that than some people, unfortunately, because it is real tough for some people.
Do we even have any like Devin Stan accounts out there? Are those
I think
around?
there's a few have been coming out of the woodwork. Last week helped.
Okay.
Last week
well,
helped.
we gotta like,
so
we gotta like push that.
Yeah, you've been missing for like 2 years.
Yeah, last week helped. Yeah, I mean, the last one I did, and I referenced this in the episode, was Final Reckoning, where I fully embarrassed myself. So it was nice to come back into this one, and show the other side of the coin. Show that it's not all about senseless drama. Although I will promise everybody this: I can't, like, it's not even that. I know it would be better. Like, here's the thing: if I just worked out every day for 3 months and shut the up, I would win the show. Like, that's what I have to do to win, and I can't do it.
I was about to say, some people would say, well, if that's all it takes, then just do it.
No, I can't do it. And the hardest part about that is the shutting up part.
Oh yeah, like I don't think there's ever going to be a season where you come in.
I just can't, especially in that environment. I know I should just go to bed, and I can't.
Oh man, I'll say, like, you gave me the perfect format for the Captain America, the like, no, I don't think I will thing. Like, I like, as soon as like Tori was like, please go to bed, and you're like, no, let's keep going a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which this is your first Justin Booth season.
This isn't Booth, actually.
Is it not? Is this season not?
No. Yeah, this is Emer.
I did not realize that, because Justin's
who did a phenomenal job, by the way, given the circumstances that we had to deal with in Iceland and obviously COVID.
Yeah, my
hat's off to not just Emer, but the whole production crew, Danny and Sky, and really everybody that was a part of that, because that was very tough. What they pulled off was really difficult.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect a new season until maybe like February or March, and especially with how delayed filming was, because nobody knew what was going on. You guys had to quarantine before you could even go out, that type of stuff. So I assumed it was Justin Booth again, just because he's kind of done the last 3, and you know, before that was I don't know.
Vendettas was a Booth season though.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought he'd been kind of missing since like the free agents era.
No, yeah, Vendettas was Booth. He was there. I think it was like a 50-50 thing on that one, but he was definitely either the top or the one of the 2 tops.
It just seemed like Final Reckoning had a very drama narrative to it, and then they were like, all right, for War of the Worlds, like we gotta take this to another level. And it's like they brought like this guy out of like a cryogenic chamber and was like, do whatever you want, blow everything up. And like, it's from a viewing perspective, like the last 3 seasons, I mean, War of the Worlds 2 wasn't great, but the other 2, like the bookends were really good. And this season so far, like production's been great. All the like little like details as far as like music choices, the editing, like the little glitch effects and everything. Like it's been pretty top notch. So
it's been I think we actually talked about this the last episode we did. Like it's been probably, the best like 3 episode opening I can remember. It's been a perfect balance of humor, drama, and competitiveness. I mean, it's been super solid, and like and I'm sure we'll get to like some of the new cast members, but like I'm a big believer in watchability on these shows, right? And so like, people come on here to win. Some people come on here just to be on TV, I would assume. But nonetheless, going back to Josh for a second, I think this guy's watchability is through the roof. I think he's goofy. I don't understand what he's thinking most of the time, but the fact that he lives on what seems like a totally different planet and in a totally different reality from everyone else makes him incredibly watchable to me.
So to me, from the other side of that,
Josh is great TV. You'll never hear me say that he's not.
Yes. The thing that bugs me is if you only had him and not people like yourself or whoever else like counterbalancing that, it would get very tiring very fast because
think about, and not to just make fun of Big Brother people the whole time, which I would love to do. Let's think about him let's think about some of the other Big Brother competitors we've had on this show, dating all the way back to when they first came on. And I mean, say what you will about Paulie. I don't really have an opinion on him one way or the other.
Jake's his biggest fan.
The kid is entertaining, and Josh is entertaining. And I will say the only other Big Brother person I know that's truly entertaining is Mark Jansen, who I don't know why has never been on this show. The kid is great television.
I only know him through Twitter, like through like Marie interacting with him on Twitter and stuff like that.
Mark Jansen is the man. He's the man. So like, as much as I disagree with Josh on certain topics, and I'm sure that everybody has people they disagree with in that setting on certain things, me and Kyle, we love to drink beers and hang out at the end of the night. It's what we like to do. And one of the games we like to play is let's cast the season of the challenge that we think would be the most entertaining. And Josh is on the list.
Yeah.
Because he's such a wild card. Like, you don't know what's going to happen.
So I'll give you that. Cause like Jake's big thing, going back to another Big Brother person, was like Casey won Big Brother. Casey was a good competitor last season, but she was basically wallpaper. Like, she hardly ever talked. Anytime she had a confessional, it was just reiterating what the rules for the daily was. And like, he had a hard line that she is one of the least memorable people that's been on the show. But I will say this season so far, she's had more personality.
I wouldn't get your hopes up. And I'm a Casey guy. I think Casey's hilarious.
Yeah, she seems nice.
In her nature, she's just so low key. And then when you throw on top of it a game where it does not benefit you, we saw what happened to me, to be high key, that's going to make like a smart, low key person like Casey just blend in even more. And you're going to see that with a lot of, without going too deep or giving a spoiler.
Don't get in trouble.
Be prepared for boring people this time around. Be prepared for them, because in my opinion, at least 50% of the cast was incredibly boring. Like I was just so bored by them.
I think the cast as a whole is very good for this season. I think they're definitely.
I think the cast was great, but the structure of the game forced people into silence because of a secret vote, because
there's so
the
many
house had numbers, and the way, just the whole structure of the game and the way it broke down, it was in a lot of people's best interest to fade into the background.
Well, and
that's what they did.
You lose Ashley and Wes in the first 3 weeks, and that's personality, like right there.
Yeah. Even Joseph, I don't think he's particularly good at the game.
But he's watchable.
Well, he's
watchable.
He's weird. He's very weird.
He's so bizarre. the mustard and the 1,000 crowd. I was like, dude, what is going on here?
He's doing like this like workout
So
in like the kitchen area, like the living room, like in front of everyone when everyone's eating breakfast, it looks like. And he's like moving like 3 centimeters like every time.
I mean, that's got to be a thing for him. Like if he ever gets called back on the show, like next elimination he goes into, he's just got to pull out a tub of horseradish or something now, right? Like
he's got a new
make it a thing.
New condiment and no pants. He's just ready to go.
Yeah, that was crazy. That day he was outside too in the gym. It was like sideways raining, 40 degrees. And he's out there with his shirt off on the bike. We're like, bro, what are you doing? He's like,
trying to get pneumonia.
Trying to acclimate to the weather before tonight. I was like, that is no. I'm like, acclimation takes a while, right?
Yeah, it's like living in a
cumulative.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen in like 3 hours before the thing you have to do. You're just gonna use all your energy staying warm in this moment.
Yeah.
Not have as much later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whenever I saw on the cast sheet, like when it was announced that we got somebody from America's Got Talent, I was like, okay. I was like,
he's a good singer.
I was like, either this guy's going to be like one of the most memorable people we've ever had, or he's going to just flop and be gone right away. And from what we've seen so far, he's not the most memorable.
I don't know if the challenge is for Joseph, to be honest with you.
We've had a handful like that where it's like they seem really nice, they're good at certain areas, but the challenge is a different world.
Yeah,
right, so it feels we're talking about watchability here, all right, and. Mm-hmm. One of the more puzzling, we talk about this on our show regularly. One of the more puzzling regular callbacks for the last 3 seasons is Big T. If I'm talking purely about watchability,
well, yeah,
I completely disagree. Well, I think she's amazing.
Okay, I'm here for this. Tell me about it.
So let me before you jump in.
Incredible.
From everything that we've heard, is the cast loves her.
Seems super sweet, super nice. But if I'm talking purely entertainment value.
And
yeah, I would advise you to watch. Obviously, you're going to, but watch this season because
we would
Big
love
T is a fan favorite. She's a cast favorite, and I think the reason is this is the first season I've done with Big T, but also this is just kind of something funny that happened. Everyone kept being like the rookies and Big T. Like whenever they would say like, we're going to target the rookies in Big T, like it's her 3rd season, but they kept trying to lump her into the rookies.
It is technically her 3rd season, but like,
yeah, it's her 3rd season. She's not a rookie.
That's true. The thing that we've been talking about is like, she seems like a super sweet person. Like everyone likes her, but no one in the house is looking at her and being like, oh man, I'm real psyched if she's my partner or whatever. Like she doesn't have a chance to win competitively, just from a competitive standpoint. That is, you don't have to comment on that or not, but that is our stance on it. And like, it always seems like when
Big T's going to surprise some people.
We would love it.
I will say that. Big T's going to surprise some people.
Her first season, the only elimination she was in was against Georgia, and it wasn't super physical, and Georgia's not really like a physical specimen to go against anyway. She lost. Second season, she got drunk and cut her foot open and went home. This season, it's like every time she has any sort of like power, it almost seems like everyone in the house is like demeaning to her in a way that it's like if your little brother like thought he was onto something and like you're like, yeah, that's real great, buddy, good job. And
I don't know, I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, I can only speak for me, but
speak your truth.
I think that Big T's interviews are hilarious, especially once you know her and how she is and what she actually means by what she's saying. I'd like to see the interview count because she's probably getting a lot of
this season
screen time through that because she's articulate, she's got great timing, and again, I think we're gonna Big TNT or Big CT or whatever
big CT.
CT. That's a squad right there.
I'm excited for it. Just because it's so different from anyone that CT would normally be partnered with. That I hope it turns into like they are the underdog who comes in and like destroys everything. And again, I know you can't speak on it, but from what we've seen in 3 seasons, it's like, yeah, she seems really nice, but like this girl doesn't have a chance to win. And that's our stance.
That's what they said about me.
Well, you made it to the final your first season.
That's what they said about me. Got voted in 9 times, lost, came back, got voted in 8 times in a row.
It's kind of we just watched Fresh Meat again, which was Wes's first season, where him and his partner went in like 7 times in a row into elimination.
It just beat everybody and then came back.
Yeah, and he had one of the worst partners of all time on that season. But yeah, the main thing is, we haven't seen you in 2 years. What have you been doing other than OnlyFans?
Man, that's a good question. Well, I did X on the Beach in terms of TV.
Yeah.
And I'm still here in Massachusetts. So my life it's pretty good.
Are you still you still calling into the sports radio thing about someone in the car?
I'm no longer Don in the car.
Don in the car.
Yeah, I think they got onto me, but I have been kind of doing the podcast circuit on some sports betting podcasts, which is pretty fun. But in terms of like my everyday life, I'm just trying to stay busy, keep up with my art and stay in shape, stay ready. If that call comes again, to be able to answer that with confidence. And I don't know, this summer we got a pontoon boat, so I spent a lot of time out on that. And I enjoy my beverages, so it's pretty relaxed to be me when I'm not filming.
So you said
I got to do a quick shout out to MTV.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
thought this was hilarious. Very, very grateful for this, but I did think it was really funny. This is unanimously the most stressful season that I've done. And I think a lot of people feel that way. Structure of the game, conditions, global climate, the whole 9
pandemic.
yards. Yeah, exactly. So I got MTV sent. I hope they sent it to everybody, not just me. That would be kind of a sign. But they sent us all weighted blankets.
Oh yeah.
So this thing literally weighs like 45 pounds. But that's the Christmas present they gave us, as almost to be like, sorry, this was like incredibly stressful.
You need a hug.
Here's a weighted blanket. It'll help you calm down. Which I love. Been using it all the time. Great present.
Does it work?
I don't know. I mean, it feels great. I have this other thing that's called the prana mat, which is like an acupuncture mat you lay down on. So I throw the weighted blanket on me while I'm on that thing. Phenomenal.
So what does the acupuncture thing do? Like, what are you trying to use it for?
It just opens up the muscles in your back and helps with, stress relief and just flexibility in general. So I usually stretch and then hop on that thing.
I have a messed up lower back right now. We went out to Utah in September, and
you should get one. Acupressure mat. They're awesome.
We were going hiking, and we did a really hard hike the first day, and then we went whitewater rafting, and I was hunched over for like 4 hours. And ever
on
since
one
then,
side too.
Yes. And ever since then, my lower back, I've gone to chiropractor and all that, and so it's not helping enough, and so I'm gonna have to look into like physical therapy or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking for any sort of relief at this point.
A lot of people are doing that cup thing in the house too.
Oh yeah, like
squeeze the thing
where you end up with those like big purple circles everywhere.
I never rolled with that. That was Lola was doing that to people, but
Polly does that.
Does she?
Polly, well, from Big Brother.
Paul, I thought you said Holly. I was like, who is Holly? I just kind of
you're just ready to roll with it. Yeah.
I was like, does Holly do that? Weird.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've looked into the weighted blankets because I have a lot of trouble sleeping in general, and apparently they're supposed to help just with like ease of transitioning.
No, what else helps with that is pot.
Not legal where we're at. Not legal.
Really?
No.
Oh, weird. Yeah, well, you're behind the curve there, but yeah, that's. I do a lot of relaxing, man. I do a lot of relaxing.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. Again,
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, well, while we're on like general, just life stuff, if I remember correctly, you're a Pats fan, right?
They're playing right now, actually. The Bills.
Oh, are they? I didn't realize.
Yeah, Monday Night Football. I don't know what the score is. I don't want to look. It wasn't good when I turned it off.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, let's spend a couple of minutes on that. I mean, Cam's wash, right? Like, I mean, this has been bad.
Yeah, again, I would be surprised. While we're filming this, he's probably out of the game and Stidham is in. Cam's not going to be the guy. He's not going to be the guy. He was a filler. They've got a lot of voids to fill. When you lose arguably the best football player of all time, that's going to happen.
Well, and I guess the real question I want to ask is, how does it feel to know that our team, the Titans, were the guys who sent Tom Brady away?
Yeah, that was his last pass as a Patriot. Was a pick
an
six.
ex-Patriot Logan Ryan picked him off.
And ran it and took it to the house. With 6 Super Bowls, I don't think Tom cares, and I don't think I care, gentlemen. Give me 6.
You've got more than us.
6. I'll trade that interception for 6 Super Bowls any day of the week.
I mean, the best.
And let's keep in mind that it could have and probably should have been 8. Helmet catch and Malcolm Butler not playing in the Philly Super Bowl. Tom Brady threw him for over 500 yards.
Malcolm Butler, Titan now.
Both could have very easily been Patriots wins.
Yeah.
Could have been 8.
But then you could also say the tuck rule and the practices that were filmed and all that stuff. I mean,
we're not counting those.
Okay. So like from a Titans perspective, obviously we were 1 game away from it last year, and the closest we had before that was like 99, where we played the Rams in the Super Bowl and like came up 1 yard short, and like obviously 6 is a lot better.
Aaron McNair.
Yeah, what we're working with.
That's right.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yep.
Yeah. Aaron McNair, Eddie George.
Yeah.
That was a good team. That was a fun team. And I hate to be the bearer of bad predictions here, and this will give us something to chat about, but I don't see the Titans getting out of the first round.
It depends on the matchup.
So who do you?
The defense, defense is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is great, highest scoring offense in the league.
I mean, so right now we would be matched up against the Dolphins.
I think we can beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think you probably beat the Dolphins unless they roll out Fitzmagic. He starts hawking it.
Well,
throws 7 interceptions and 10 touchdowns. It's like, wait, what?
He was our quarterback for a couple of years.
Yeah, that guy is a legitimate journeyman.
Yeah, he's a Harvard man.
I think he's got like 10 kids too.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, him and Phillip Rivers
definitely does.
Well, Phillip Rivers is Catholic, and so they
got a ton of dudes.
Yeah.
Feel the full team. Yeah, the NFL's gonna be great this season. I'm just so impressed. It sounds like I'm just doing like, I guess, reckless like pats on the back, but I feel like people need them right now. I'm so impressed at the fact that we've even been able to have sports and like do a challenge, and it's insane. Yeah, it's insane. So hat tipping to all the people behind the scenes that make that shit happen, because it is not easy.
Yeah, the bubble in Orlando with the NBA
was crazy.
It was executed great, which I don't know.
It was just as entertaining, right? Like, I mean, if you're watching it, like, you almost don't even realize that there are no fans.
Especially when you're locked in a hotel room like I was in quarantine for 10 days waiting to go film this. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, there's 4 NBA playoff games a day? This is awesome.
Starting at like 11 a.m.?
Yeah, it was like, let's go.
And they were some of the best games. I mean, when you've got like the Nuggets thing happening, they're coming back down 3-1, 2 series in a row. And then you've got, people like, whether it's TJ Warren, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, just like blowing up in the bubble. Like, it was a blast.
Gary Trent, like coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was really fun to see. And that dude from Brooklyn was really fun to watch.
Karis LeVert.
Yeah, LeVert was crushing it.
So the Grizzlies are playing the Nets right before we started recording. It went into overtime right when we were starting to record.
John Morant got hurt.
He rolled his ankle real bad, completely sideways. X-rays are negative, but you're not worried about a break. You're worried about ligament damage. So MRI and stuff will be tomorrow. He's in a boot. He was on the sideline, like he was on the seats. Like he came out in sweats and stuff after that, but he's in a huge walking boot. So
I was just waiting on the Paul Pierce reenactment to happen for him to get up out of that wheelchair and just come.
But isn't the speculation that Paul Pierce just had diarrhea and then he just came back?
I don't know. I was waiting for Nicole to pull a wheelchair entry, save me from that elimination, but it didn't work out.
I do have to say, to Nicole's credit, for someone who like was medically disqualified from the show, she was very calm about it.
Nicole's a warrior, man. I can't say enough positive things about her. My heart goes out to her, just not only being a firefighter and putting herself out there for people constantly, and she's just like a selfless person. That's how she is. But what people don't know about Nicole is she uses up her vacation time to go film these shows. So she has to wait. That's why she can only do them so often.
Yeah, it's been since like Vendettas or something.
She saves up her vacay time and then uses it all at one time to come and film the show. So to do that,
she loves it.
Oh, dude, she loves to compete. She's a true warrior. So that I wasn't surprised at all the way she handled it. I mean, she's mature and she's a true competitor and an amazing athlete. And it was a bummer to lose her as a partner. Although there was a communication barrier, I think me and Nicole were gonna bring the best out in each other. So
it's a good yin and yang situation. Like, you guys complimented each other in the right areas.
I actually think she doesn't get enough credit. We're on Twitter and like I saw people regularly like, stapling her in as like a non-threat to win. I'm just like, man, this girl made the finals her first 2 seasons. Like anytime there's something physical, she crushes it.
If she didn't roll her ankle in Vendettas, like she had a legit chance.
She'd have won that.
Yeah,
she was gonna win that because I know she was leading right when that
yeah,
happened.
she had. I mean, it's Nicole will be the first person to tell you when it comes to it's the puzzles that she's got to lock in on,
which is your area.
And we were gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have Tori though. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see. Again, like we are spoiler free. We try to keep it that way because then we can give honest reactions to the things that happen. Because if we know that like you won this week and then like you're going to go home next week for whatever reason, like then the win doesn't mean anything and it's hard to react to that. So we try to stay as spoiler free as possible. I block and mute anyone I can on Twitter that has any sort of a semblance of, oh, can't wait for this season and this person to do whatever, because I just don't want it to ruin our experience of it.
Yeah, totally. Hey, I get it, man. That's the best way to watch it. Spoiler free.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break here and we will come back right after this.
And we are back. Zach being a total sweetheart, giving me the privilege during the Devin interview to bring us back in.
That's what they call me. They call me the total sweetheart.
Yeah.
So we're gonna transition into our Patreon questions, which again, I know we're gonna have a handful of new listeners. We have Patreon. I'm gonna plug it right here, patreon.com/Mashinets podcast. It directly supports the show. We don't have an OnlyFans, so this is what we do to
just think about it. It's good cash.
OnlyFans can we get into that real quick before we get into the Patreon stuff?
Sure.
So Wes ended up throwing out some figures about you and Kayla, I believe. He didn't say specifics, but it was during the whole whatever the house thing he was doing in Kansas was, like the give back thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is the money as good as what he said?
I don't know what he said, but
like we're talking like
pretty good.
6 figures.
Yeah.
Really? That's amazing.
I mean, I'm not gonna dime anybody else out. I can't speak for Kayla, but people are generous, man. They're generous and they're incredibly kind. And I love the industry, and I'm not doing anything that I don't feel comfortable doing, which isn't a ton, to be honest. And everybody that follows me on there knows that. Yeah. Like I'm pretty reserved. I know some people aren't that way, and that's no hate coming from me, but I'm pretty reserved in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, it's still, I'm chilling.
Hey,
so
good for you.
Thought is like, if Zach and I doubled up on our OnlyFans here and we just went in as a dual pair, I don't know, maybe we could do pretty well.
Twice the cash.
We had our own nickname a while back. I don't remember how it came up, but we were the Nipple Boys, and I'm not
the Nipple Boys. Yeah.
Exactly where that came from, but it was a thing for a while.
There's probably a story there somewhere.
Something tells me that name is probably spoken for, but I think you could get something close to it.
It probably is.
Yeah. The boys had a Z on the end, so I don't know if that separates it.
Maybe change that to $. You might be in business.
Can you do $signs in a URL? I'm not sure.
Hard to say. Not a big URL guy. I don't know.
You're not. You didn't strike me as one.
You're more of an HTML guy. I can see it.
100%.
So let's get into our Patreon questions again. Anytime we have guests on, one, we do ad free and they get them early, but then we also try to do as many questions as we can from there. I'm gonna kind of just read them as they come across. If we've already talked about it, we'll just skip right over it. Like I told you before we started recording, if there's anything you don't want to talk about, we'll move right along. I don't feel like we're gonna get underneath your skin with any of these.
I'm pretty open book, man.
Yeah. So Ryan says, how did you feel when you saw CT and Big T voted for you in the elimination? It sounded like Kyle, West, Devin, CT, and Big T, and a few others could have gotten the numbers to stay safe and keep you out of elimination.
Yeah, that was, I'm not going to lie, that was kind of a bummer. I thought I was more on the same page than I was with them, but I understand why they did what they did.
Well, and then you had Kyle burning on Fessy for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware of what happened.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like, I know what happened, and I know why everybody did it, and I know they thought that I wasn't coming back. So why burn a bridge with Leroy when Devin's not going to come back anyways? But I came back. I came back and I pretty much forgave everybody, because this isn't like, I knew what had happened. And Leroy told me immediately, bro, the whole house voted for you.
Yeah.
Like, whoever you thought was on your team isn't. You're by yourself.
You were like the wounded animal, because like your partner's already gone home. Like you had already been shot essentially, and they said to finish you off.
Yeah. I mean, so they thought again. And it's like, little did they know, your boy had a little more fight in him than I got credit for. But that's slowly going to change. You're going to see I'm certainly not done doing these shows, and we're spoiler free. So, I'll let you guys watch this season and formulate your own opinion, but you're going to see me start to take respect that I think that I deserve. And I'm going to put myself in a position where I can shock some people, and this isn't the last time it's going to happen.
But hey, that makes us want to look forward
to answer the question though. I would have preferred Big T and CT not to vote for me. So obviously it hurts a little bit, but I understand from a gameplay perspective, what wasn't shown is Cam walking into deliberation and saying, Leroy wants Devin. He's going to see the votes. If you don't vote for Devin, you're going down there.
Yeah. They're going to know who voted one way or the other.
So,
which by the way, was a weird thing for Fessy to just offer up to a room full of 8 people last week, when at that point he was the only one that knew, other than Anissa. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. Yeah. Austin said, with Are You the One resurfacing to stream, have you gotten any new hate for the ways that you acted? Which again, we have not seen Are You the One.
I'm not on there yet. I don't think. I
didn't think your season was on there.
Yeah, it was season 3. Trust me, when me, Nelson, Hunter, Brittany, Chuck, Amanda, and Cheyenne's season goes up, you'll know about it, because that'll be the most streamed reality show on Netflix.
It'll be the only Are You the One season that I would honestly consider watching.
Fire content, real interesting to see us.
I think you told us this last time, and I never got around to it.
Oh yeah.
So he also said, is there anyone else from Are You the One that you feel like was a missed opportunity for the challenge, whether it was competition wise or entertainment wise?
Melanie, also from my season. Melanie was she's a kickboxer. She's a Zumba instructor. She was kind of crazy, but really strong.
That's good TV though.
I think she was like a Knicks cheerleader. She would do very well in the challenge. She's got great endurance. She's strong. She's like probably 5'5". She's got some height on her. So I was surprised, actually, from a competition standpoint, Mel didn't get the nod. But, it's a tough show to get on. So I think the casting directors do a great job. And, They might have missed one there, but
Okay.
maybe they know something I don't.
Why do you think Are You the One Second Chances never got a second chance? I'm assuming he means only one season.
I think that was just supposed to be a one-off, to be honest.
He has a lot of questions, by the way.
Yeah, and Second Chances was tough because to put things in perspective, again, I was partnered with Rashida, my partner, who's great. But I think we came in first or second in 8 out of the 10 competitions. And like, I'm realistic, right? Mm-hmm. Like I go on this show, I barely win dailies. I might squeak out an elimination. You know what I mean? Yeah. I dominated that show. So to have a competition show with people that just honestly weren't good at stuff it was hard to do it again.
Well, so speaking to that, like until you told us this, I had no idea Second Chances was a competition style show. Mm-hmm. Like I assumed it was just like they were bringing back people from Are You the One to do Are You the One all over again. It's not good marketing.
No. Yeah, no. Nope. It was
just from a name standpoint.
Yeah,
it
very
sounds
different
like
than that. And it legitimately ended up being, if anybody goes back and watches that show, it is Tori versus Devin. It's not Tori's alliance versus Devin's alliance. It's Tori versus Devin. It's like us two were the only two that were any good at anything. Rashida was pretty good at some stuff, but it was like me and Tori against each other the entire time without a close third.
Were you the only two that had done the challenge at that point?
Tori hadn't even done the challenge yet.
Oh, has she not?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she's a weird one because like she went from, which this is not speculate on anything with her relationship. She was with Derek when we first met her, arguably one of the biggest flops to ever be on the show. He was a like Division I basketball player.
Yeah, it doesn't translate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and then she was with Jordyn until recently, and Jordyn's one of the best people of all time at the challenge.
Jordyn's an incredible athlete. No one can take that away from him. He's very good at the game, and the thing is with somebody like Jordyn is that it is another guy kind of like Kyle, where he's really good at figuring out what you need to do in the game, but then also just like he's never going to give up.
Yeah.
So like Derek H doesn't have that in him, He's got a lot of the physical tools, but he doesn't have it here. And that's what the challenge is. It's more here than it is anywhere else.
100%. So I'm gonna try to knock these out because he apologized, so he's like, I'm sorry, I asked a lot of questions. So
I'll be quicker too.
Yeah. During the casting for Invasions, there was rumors about you and Tori being called for the season, but Second Chances filmed around the same time. If you could go back to those availability calls, would you do Second Chances again? Which I think we already talked about this. You said you did that
190K, so
and you didn't have to live in a shack. So
yeah, lived in a mansion, had a shower with like literal control panel in it.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
That's easy. Do you still talk to Rashida? How do you think she would have done on the challenge? How well do you think she would have performed?
I don't really talk with Rashida much. I have a ton of love for her. She'll always have a special part or place in my heart for being the partner that I had when I won my first reality TV show. Love Rashida, but I think she'd have been good at the challenge. But sure, her size would work against her. I mean, she's very tiny. And against some of these girls and some of these physical eliminations, it just would be a big hurdle to get over. But she's got a ton of heart, I'd never underestimate somebody.
After seeing the money twist play out on Rivals 3, what was your reaction to seeing it on Second Chances? Was it kind of an eye roll moment for you?
Money stealing. Oh yeah, with Sarah. No, I don't know. I mean, I felt like it was different because
did you have the opportunity to steal half the money? And
I could have taken it. Yeah. So I've had 3 opportunities to steal the money and I've never taken it once.
Would you,
I would never take the money, but here's the thing.
Even if it was like bananas?
Bro, I don't think I would take the money.
Because he would for sure take it. And by the way, it's great TV if someone takes it.
He probably would take it. I got to think about, though, I know how I do too many hallucinogenic drugs to steal $500,000 from somebody.
It would like weigh on your subconscious.
Oh, bro, I would like, especially knowing that I don't need it to steal it from somebody. I don't know if I've got that in me. I would have to think about it. That's a tough one, man. I mean, that's a tough one. It definitely is a case-by-case situation, and it's like, you have to assess in that moment, what it means to the other person, and all that gets played. But
Bananas and Ashley are like their own people as far as like when it comes to
whether I agree with those decisions or not. They both had convinced themselves that it was appropriate to do that, and I don't know if I could convince myself of that.
Yeah, because again, you guys know, like other people even though it may not make it on the show, like there may be someone that's like, hey, I need this for whatever, my mom needs surgery, and like these little things, and they got to play in your mind whenever you're making decisions like that. Like it's not just strictly.
I don't second guess anybody anymore, to be honest with you. I used to been like, how could you take the money, blah, blah, this, that, and the third. That's for them, man. That's their decision. Yeah. I can't say what I would do, I guess, until I'm in that situation. But where I sit right now, someone would have really had to do something to me. Yeah. Someone would have really, really had to do something to me.
Lastly, he said he just wants to thank you because I guess you did a cameo for him.
Yeah, shout out Cameo too. Also, Cameo, unsung hero of the holiday season.
That the guy from The Office that plays Kevin, he made $1 million on Cameo this year.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's crazy. So again, we'll let you plug all that at the end. Paul, which is our stat guy, he said you asking Josh basic multiplication questions was amazing. What cast member do you think legitimately would not be able to answer the question, what is 8 times 9? Nicole and Corey had huge issues with division on their Invasions final.
Hey, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to name drop either. I've done enough of that over this podcast, but there was a fair amount of simple addition books floating around this challenge house.
Like so to try to keep you warm?
Get me started on multiplication. No, I'm talking about, and again, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus here. You know who you are. There's a few of you. Had legitimate, like, simple addition coloring books, like basic mathematics books that they do like worksheets on, like you're in 3rd grade. Mm. I'm not kidding.
I mean, legitimately, that's 3rd grade level of multiplication.
I'm not making this up. We got people working on fractions.
I'm surprised they let you have that, because I know you can't have books or magazines or that type of thing. I guess
allegedly you can have basic mathematics coloring books because they're in there.
Paul also said you were joking about Big Brother on the show. Quite frankly, the fact that Josh won the show makes me lose a lot of respect for it, as I can't see him win anything. However, Are You the One has been part of the cast since Exes 2 and has only produced one winner, which is Hunter, who had the money stolen. Why do you think Are You the One is a better feeder show than Big Brother?
I never said that, but just from
I think he's just asking your opinion.
Oh, well, I do think it's a better feeder show. Yeah. I think we just look at those lineups and you think, who do I want to watch?
Yeah, you're cast alone.
Who do I want to watch? And I mean, it's a landslide. Are You the One? It's that game. Big Brother's really difficult, but it is solely built off of pleasing people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are You the One had nothing to do with pleasing people. I think innately that makes better TV. I think displeasing people makes better TV. That's just what I think.
Do you think if you were on Big Brother that you would get a lot of people mad at you from the 24/7 cams for the stuff that's not even on the show?
They would definitely get mad at me because people just don't like me, But everyone always says that, and it's like, dude, we're filmed 24/7 in the challenge house anyways.
Yeah.
All these people that say this big thing got cut, whatever, they're full of shit. It's like, if it's really that big of a deal, or if it's something that's that, abrasive or ignorant or mean, it's getting played. So I wouldn't be afraid of the 24-hour cameras. I'd be afraid of no beer for 99 days.
Oh, did they
That's
not
what
let
I'd be
you?
afraid
They don't
of.
let you drink in there?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. We've never watched Big
Absolutely
Brother
not.
either.
Which is another reason why I'm like, Big Brother sucks. I don't trust anybody that doesn't have a beer for 100 days. I'm sorry. Don't trust you.
Well, I know that the challenge has cut back on there. They used to just, man, before you were on the show, it just flowed like crazy. It wasn't dyed green. Like, they let you have like hard stuff. And then you had some incidents that cut that back. But so Grimm says, does it feel weird not having your storyline entirely based around taking out bananas? When you found out he wouldn't be there, were you worried about your purpose there, or if you would get camera time?
Oh, that's such a well-written backhanded question.
Well, you know what? Knowing who it is, that's on par with that.
That's totally in line. Yeah,
that's next level trolling right there. So congratulations for that. You might as well have just said the insult, pal.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's
so we have a Slack group that a lot of these patrons are in, so we talk to them a lot.
Yeah, I'll say this. Attaching yourself to somebody else's narrative from this show is a really easy thing to do. It's low-hanging fruit. And anybody that knows me and anybody that's seen me on any show with or without any other character knows that if I have a problem with somebody, it doesn't matter what status they have on the show, what their age or race or gender or sexual preference is. I don't filter myself. I am an equal opportunity talker, hater, whatever you want to call it. I am that for everybody across the board. So I understand the narrative, and I get this joke, and I get this comment. I get it all the time.
It's funny because we haven't read these, but it is on par.
Just watch me in anything else without any character that you want to base my storylines off of. I'm the same guy. So it was I concerned when I didn't see Johnny there? No. Thankfully, a guy that won the show 7 times isn't here. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and like the biggest.
You want to know why I try to get him out? Because the key fucking wins every time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get him out, he wins. That's why I try to get him out.
Yeah, and again, like you're actually friends with the other like champ that's in there. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's. Hey, you're not gonna get a whole ton of hate from me now, because my life's too good. So when I was going through and I was obviously being a meaner person, then that's what happens. But now I'm everybody's friend. Everybody likes me now, except for Josh, Fessy, Casey.
Yeah.
So all of Big Brother, essentially. Although Fessy laughed when you said Big Brother sucks the first time. He was in the background, and he thought it was really funny when you yelled it the first time.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it was funny.
So this is from Paul again, the stat guy. I know what he's wanting you to do. I don't know if you're going to do it, but besides yourself, what challenger do you think would score the highest on the Wonderlic style or standardized tests, like what the NFL quarterbacks and stuff have to take? And he said, who also would score the lowest on standardized testing?
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to name names
from this season.
Yeah, or any season, but probably this season. Who would be the highest and who would be the lowest?
Anissa would be the highest.
Really?
Anissa, West, CT.
So like all the ones who've doing it for like 15 years.
I'm telling you right now, all 3 of those individuals are incredibly intelligent, and I can see them all testing really well because they're like used to pressure cooker situations, but they're also all very well-rounded. Mm-hmm. And CT's one that gets like no credit for that, but he's really smart.
We're named after him, man. I mean, obviously it was in a dark time, but
he's smart at like IT stuff though. He's smart at like he gets it. Who would do the worst? I'm just gonna do this season. Listen, I I love Nelson. I don't think he's a big standardized test guy.
I will
Corey,
give you that.
I think Nelson and Corey would have a hard time with a standardized test.
Nelson is unintentionally one of the funniest people that's ever been on the show.
Nelson is unapologetically himself. He can't help be himself, and I love him for it.
Yes, like
I love Nelson.
He gives us more episode titles than any single person that's ever been on the show.
Mm-hmm. He's got some fire lines coming up this season too.
Okay, that's what we've been waiting for. It's kind of been quiet so far.
He must be saving them all towards the end because haven't gotten a lot out of Nelson so far.
Not a lot of storyline with him. So Sharon says she saw you at Challenge Mania live in DC a few years ago, and you talked about loving karaoke. What's your go-to song? And she actually wanted to know if you would sing a little bit for her, which is over Zoom. Man. I don't know how that'll translate.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not gonna belt one out just yet. But I will give you my karaoke top 3.
Okay.
Which is Zombie by the Cranberries.
Good song.
Creep by Radiohead and Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. That's
so
the Holy Trinity.
You're like in like you are deadlocked in like alternative rock of the early 90s.
Yeah, and then honorable mention to Macy Gray, I Try. That's a hitter.
That's outside the genre.
Yeah, that's a hitter. And there's a couple other ones I do, and probably John Mayer, Your Body is a Wonderland. There's my top 5.
Well, I mean, you knocked that one out of the park. So Neil, which by the way, just some quick background on Neil. Neil is for sure our oldest patron. That's not disparaging against him.
Shout out Neil.
He started watching the show with his like college-age daughter as a way to bond with her, and then loved it so much that he found our podcast and became a patron. We love Neil. And so
Neil's our guy. I think I love Neil too. That's a great story.
You would love him. He's not. I think he's in North Carolina. He always offers to cook Italian food for anyone who wants to come over. So he said, "Is it part of your way to intentionally find a way to get under other people's skin? And do you do research ahead of time as to what pushes people's buttons, or do you just go with the moment?" I get a feeling that you just kind of live in the moment.
I've got 3 older brothers, so I've learned very specific ways to read what will upset somebody. And anybody with older siblings, I think, can relate to that. So do I go in having done research? No. Do I assess really quickly what kind of person they are? Yes. Do I waste my time on the people that are just going to shrug it off? No.
Yeah.
No.
That's been, so I'm not quite what you are, but like my whole life is just like, you can kind of tell where people's buttons are. And you can also tell when you can use humor to like alleviate situations and stuff like that. Like you can use it in both directions.
Yeah. I promise you guys too, this was like they send us assets for each show, and there's a GIF of me saying like, there's constantly a little version of myself on my shoulder telling me to call somebody an idiot. That is real. Yeah. I promise you, I can't help it. I don't know. It gets me in trouble in my relationships, gets me in trouble with my family, it gets me in trouble with on this show. It puts a target on my back. I can't help it. When someone's being dumb, I just want to tell them. Let's face it, in a house with a fair amount of people that, under the pressure, given the situation, aren't always saying the smartest stuff.
That's my biggest thing is it is very hard for me not to just be like, you're being extremely dumb right now. And I've had to, just for job related stuff and, things like that, pull some restraint. And just because it's not worth your time all the time, like I just delete people and stuff now because I'm not on TV doing it.
Do you ever have moments like the rest of us where you just look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're an idiot?
Oh, to myself?
Yeah.
All the time.
Okay.
I mean, ask any one of my partners from any of these shows, or even really in real life, anyone that's been close to me. I am such a big critic of other people because I'm a huge critic of myself. Like I have done so much dumb in my life that I just know what it looks like to do dumb. So when other people are doing it, I call them out on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not. For those people that think like, am I a little cocky? Am I confident in myself? Yes, absolutely. Do I think I'm some like perfect superhuman like person? No, absolutely not. I have one of the most comedically ridiculous lives because I have made it very difficult for myself by making terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Like regularly, I just cannot help myself. So I call people dumb because I am definitely dumb sometimes myself.
You recognize it. Real recognize real. Yeah.
100%.
Self-aware. Yeah.
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 So we got one more question. It's from Neens, which she didn't put on here, but she did put in our Slack group. If we could give you her phone number and email and Twitter and all that stuff afterwards. I think she's got something going on there.
Yeah, she's feeling Devin after seeing me in that harness.
I'm not sure if she's subscribed to you on OnlyFans or not. We could find that out. I know she's in California.
Who needs it? Honestly, who needs OnlyFans when you got me against Wes in a rope pole with a harness on?
Yeah.
Just watch that in slow-mo. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
She said out of all the daily challenges you've done and can remember, I don't know if she's assuming you have memory loss or just the drugs, just taking it away. But
increased memory, actually. Yeah. Mushrooms fight brain plaque.
She said which one was the most fun? And which one was the most difficult if you want to marinate on both of those?
The Rivals 3 final was awesome. We got to like rappel. We got to do this big pulley thing.
You carried barrels or something?
Got to blow things up. Yeah.
That was really cool. But that's not really a single challenge. I would say the proudest I've ever felt for a single day challenge was Rivals 3. It was called like Stairway to Heaven or something. And it was me and Cheyenne came in like 4th or 5th. And with like 12 teams still there. After we had lost, we came back, and it was like an endurance challenge where you had to drag a bunch of stuff up these giant stairs, and like we just crushed it, and that was super fun. We had to eat a brain, and then it ended up we ended up naked. I remember that. Yeah.
I forgot about
that. Was a really cool one. I like that one. I remember that one a lot.
Do you have one that was the most difficult?
The most difficult, I'm trying to think of one where I was just absolutely dead afterwards. Oh, well, this one I wasn't exhausted, but it was really hard to do. This is why Tony reigns as one of the greatest challengers of all time. Vendetta's swimming challenge, where we had to move this ring across a line like 15 meters underwater, and there was 3 breathing stations. You stop, breathe, stop, breathe. Tony didn't know about the breathing station. He just somehow
bypassed him. Yeah.
So he just went like 100 meters.
Yeah.
With this ring, it popped up on the other side.
I forgot about that.
And afterwards, we're drinking beers, and we're like, "So Tony, which one of the things did you stop at?" And he was like, "Wait, there's oxygen tanks down there."
Also, he ate like I don't remember if it's the same season, but at one point,
entire bowl
of mayonnaise. Yeah, he's like very specifically strong in certain areas.
Oh, Tony died. He's also one that's on the list on me and Kyle's have to cast most entertaining season guy. He's on.
Oh yeah, he's a good time.
He's on there.
She did say, in the midst of all our other questions, she did say, "Will you go on a date with me?" I don't know your current status.
Taken. Sorry, babe. Off the market.
You know, we'll break it to her.
Yeah.
This won't come out for a couple days, but we'll break it to her.
She's not gonna be happy though.
I appreciate the support though.
Yeah. Oh, we all are supportive. We all would try to date you. I think Jake and I knew that you were off the table.
I appreciate.
I thought you were gonna say that you and I would try to date him. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So she also said, which this is the last question, what was more satisfying, beating your rival, John, she means Johnny Bananas, or your mentor, Wes?
I think this one was more satisfying because it was physical, and Wes had beaten me once in champs.
Yeah.
So this wasn't the first time me and Wes were tethered together, and the last time he got the best of me. And it was a similar situation where I was kind of blindsided because they had an opportunity to send anybody in that they wanted, and they chose to send me in, even though I was in good standing with them. and Wes got me. So not only did I avenge that loss, but it was also something that when you go down and you see the light bright, I think everyone says, okay, Devin's got a decent shot here, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gave me a chance in this. People can say whatever they want. Nobody on those risers gave me a chance.
Well, and
Tori was the only one.
Yeah.
Tori and Anissa was a little quieter than Tori. Tori was really the only one that was A, rooting for me, and B, I think thought I could actually win. And that was more because she wanted Wes out, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, you're not choosing at that point. Yeah, it's especially like Wes has seen this elimination before, like this type of elimination. We've seen it in past seasons. So I don't know if any of the ones you've ever been on, you've had one of these where you're tied and it's basically most of the time who can just dig in and outlast the other person. But you actually got a little bit of you were a little bit ahead of him in the running, and so you kind of started off with more of a lead. And then he like, again, we only can talk about what we saw. He did seem like he wasn't there. Like it was like his head wasn't.
Well, yeah.
there.
One other thing that they don't show is I talked that entire elimination. I talked to the crowd. I talked to Natalie. I talked to Wes. I was talking to TJ at one point. I mean, Wes was over there and was already kind of like, I don't want to go against my friend. I feel like I've been backstabbed. I'm not in a great headspace. And then the icing on the cake is as I'm down there pulling hard, I'm not going to say the things I was saying because we're family friendly here, but you guys probably put it together based on my personality. Some of the other things that were said in the episode.
You went at him. Like you were like,
I didn't go at him, but
okay.
Natalie was telling him, Devin's gas, you're stronger than him, this, that, and the third. And I was looking over at him and just saying, I'm not gassed and I'm not going anywhere. And at that point, I could tell he was kind of like, all right, how bad do I want this? Do I want to be down here for 3 hours? Because that's what it's going to take to beat this kid.
Yeah.
How long were you guys down there?
Yeah, we didn't get any sort of a semblance of how long it lasted.
40 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes.
Which it seemed like it was like a 10-minute thing the way they cut it.
Yeah, it was when we were down there for a while. I mean, my arms were. I had some issues after for a little while. We've
seen those exact setup eliminations go for like 2 hours before.
Yeah, this was right when I went down there too. I'm so glad that I did this.
Did you have any mustard? That was the main thing.
I know. I left my condiments at home, which I was. I thought I was going to be at a disadvantage there, but I checked the rope right to see if it was like a rope with no give, or if it was a rope that was going to have a little stretch to it. And it was a rope that was going to have a little stretch to it. And I could tell that right away because I have, just seen a lot of ropes from practicing climbing and just tying up in boats and all that type of. So I knew it was going to be something that has a little bit of give to it. Yeah. And so Wes wasn't necessarily moving backwards, but he wasn't trying to move forwards. Mm-hmm. And I realized that if I just kept going, the rope would stretch long enough for me to be able to hit it.
Yeah, like I didn't know if it was like if there's any elasticity to it, or if it was just like it is what it is, and someone's got to give one way or the other.
No, there was because I don't think, I mean, he might have moved back a foot or 2 feet or something, but we both had probably 8 feet to go when the rope ran out. So I definitely didn't move him back 8 feet.
Yeah.
I moved him back probably 2 feet, and the rope stretched a long way because it was a long rope. It was a lot of. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good elimination win. It's again, like
I'll take it.
Like I said at the beginning, man, like had no idea. We just reached out because we had a lot of fun the last time we recorded, and we're like, hey, it's been 2 years. We need to see what he's been up to. And the fact that it culminated in you going into an elimination, like with your back against the wall, and then winning the elimination, that was just the icing on the cake. So before we get out of here, we want to let you plug anything you want. I know we've already talked about your OnlyFans and your Cameo. I don't know if you have any other endeavors.
Those are the two big ones, man. And yeah, follow me on whatever you want to. And if you don't want to, then that's probably a good decision too, for both of us. But you'll be able to track me down, and it's not the last you'll see of me, I'm sure. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and thanks for a great interview.
We're glad you were able to come by, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season, because if it's anything like the first 3 episodes, it looks like it's going to be a great one. So we'll let you.
What do y'all call your Patreon people?
It depends. So we have patrons, but like we have 3 different levels. There's fresh meat, which is the lowest level, and then there's free agents, and then there's bloodlines. That's the highest.
Shout out to our Bloodlines listeners in the building.
We try to keep it challenge related. Yeah. Actually, almost, I think every question except maybe 1 or 2 were all Bloodlines level patrons. So that works out really perfectly.
Nice. So, we appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me. And
no, you're a part of this too.
Yeah, you're a part of it.
Yeah, we appreciate ourselves. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. On that, we'll let you get out of here. I know it's late for you, and we kept you longer than we promised we would.
No problem, guys. Have a good night.
See you, man.
Bye now.